Kali Uchis just dropped her new album titled Miedo today, November the 18th. Now, I'm a fan of Kali Uchis, and please forgive me for pronouncing her name wrong. Yeah, I'm one of those students that took Spanish in college, but barely made it out, so yeah. But I like her so much that I actually ended up sampling her. Yeah, I did that. You know what? Go ahead and stay until the end of the video to see the rest of the clip. Now, if you're new to my channel, I do music reviews that not only consists of me breaking down the album, but also the artists, the songs, and then I give my review. So if you're a music fan, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Only about 5% of y'all are actually subscribed to my channel, so let's change that today. Let's get this video to about 30 new subscribers and 30 new likes. Oh, and if you want me to review your music, go ahead and send me a DM or send me an email and I will review it for you. What else? Oh, I made a beat tape. Go ahead and check that out. All right, let's get into the video. So who is Kali Uchis? Kali Uchis is a 26-year-old American singer and songwriter from Alexandria, Virginia. Now, she got her stage name from her father. It's actually a nickname given from him. And she came into the music scene in 2012 with her mixtape, Drunken Babble. And people described it to be genre defying. Now, following that recognition, she actually went on to release her first EP. And that EP was released in 2015 and it was called Por Vida. And following that, in 2018, her debut studio album titled Isolation gave her widespread acclaim. Now, before the music and before the fame, she actually grew up in an immigrant and working class home. So her life at home was actually filled with hard manual labor. But her music passion actually started to spark in high school. She, like myself, actually joined the jazz band, and there she was able to learn the piano as well as the saxophone, the best instrument in the world. I mean, don't you agree? She also had an interest in photography and film. So much to the point where she actually started to skip class pretty often just to hang in the photo lab, while also making mixtape cover arts and experimental short films. But unfortunately, with that, along with breaking so many curfews, that led to her being kicked out of her house at a very young age. So one thing that I didn't know, she actually started living out of her car, and then she wrote songs on her piano, which eventually led to her creating the mixtape that she released in 2012. And the rest is pretty much history. Now, fun fact, she was actually more interested in directing films rather than being in the spotlight as an artist. But I guess you could say it all worked out for her, being that she now makes music and make some cool videos. Now, some of her influences include 1960s music, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, as well as Mariah Carey. And now we have her second studio album titled Miedo, which is actually her first majority Spanish-speaking project. Now, obviously I don't speak Spanish, but it is my job to translate her album to y'all English-speaking people out here like myself. And I'm gonna do that while reviewing the album from top to bottom. Okay, so the first track, The Morning Love, has beautiful harmonies. And the production is simple. I love the bongos, which keep the tempo, and then there's also a guitar that plays lovely melodies. I also love her lower tone when it comes to her voice, and then higher tone vocals in the background. But there's also a cover. Now, the first verse comes from a song by Los Zafaros called The Moon in Your Look. Now, in my opinion, it's a very lovely first song, and I'm definitely looking forward to listening to the rest of the album. Now, for It Was Better, I love the spacious feel in the production. There's a hip-hop R&B feel production, which gives a lot of space for voices in the background of production, which is very lovely. It's very soulful. It has my guy Party Next Door on it. I love her flow on the track, and I think her voice stays simple. It gives the song really what it just needs. And the song talks about how it does not hurt to leave a relationship. She mentioned, I'm leaving and you ain't gonna forget about me either. You know what I'm saying? Hate to be the guy that messed that one up. Brandy Lemon is a more abstract song. I love the driving bass throughout the production, and the drums are giving me a lot of 90s bebop vibes, which makes sense because Soundwave is actually on the production. But so far, this is definitely one of my favorite productions out of the first three. It kind of sounds like a track that would be perfect for a Solange. I mean, possibly a Solange remix, Come on now. So Here I Command has Rico nasty on it. And one thing I like about this track in particular is that it brought in a different feel, a trap feel. There's a guitar sample in the back and it's heavily driven with 808s. Oh, honestly, this track is hot. I love the verses from Rico and there's a mix of singing and rapping throughout the track as well. I also love how towards the end there's a lot of early 2000s sounds used in the production. The song talks about the wishes of a woman wanting to dominate her partner. And not just in one aspect, but every aspect of their relationship. She mentioned he can get used to her style. If not, hey, he can walk away from her. Well, folks, you heard it here first. And we'll go with God. Now, I love the orchestrated sounds coming in this production. And to be honest, the drums and the piano gives a lot of Kanye production vibes. The song is sung perfectly as if Amy Winehouse was on the track. And really the combination of her voice and the production is just a perfect combination. Kali is usually in the lower register, but she actually showcased her vocal range in this track as well by going up a couple of octaves. And the title speaks for itself. Listen to so many lies and the world is false at times. So she prays to God until the angels come take her away. Very nice written. I love it. After reading the translation, I thought it was a very, very well written song. I actually used another cover. This is a cover of a Lupe song with the same title. It has the percussionist Tito Yunti. Hey, look, I told you my accent is terrible. But it is short and sweet to the point. And it really shows how well she can sing. And then on top of that, it also just brings the album together. I really love how there's a combination of covers on top of original songs, which is nice. I Want to Feel Good, the production is amazing. Another simple abstract sound, but there's a lot of consistency with the drums. Now there's a lot of sense used throughout this track and there's a lot of live drums as well. And the song just talks about her wanting to feel good. She mentioned things like love and a word without fighting and feeling like healing. But as of now, at this point in the album, there's nothing that missed. I love every single track on the album, and hey, I'm looking forward to hearing the rest. Now, Telepathy sounds old school. It's kind of giving me a lot of 70s feel R&B. There's a lot of guitar mixed with synths here, and you'd think that it'd be a lot, but to be honest, it actually works perfectly. It works perfectly for the build-up that's in the track as well. And this song talks about a long-distance relationship or a love interest, which is nice and refreshing. It's actually one of my favorite tracks. And Nobody's gives a dance feel. It's kind of like a Drake Controller track. But the song talks about her being nobodies and not wanting to be with nobody. But some people get offended and some people call her bipolar because of it. Now, one thing that really did stick out with this track is it changed basically midway throughout the track. It went to a more halftime speed track, and then it became more chop and screw, which I love. I really love the vocal effects and the different sound effects they use throughout this track for the remainder of the time. Usually with chop and screw, it's easy to really mess it up, but this one was done well and it wasn't really too much. It's Not You, It's Me I thought it was okay. I think the drums are a little bit too aggressive for her voice. Now the drums are a dance feel, don't get me wrong, but her voice is just a little bit kind of too smooth. Combination kind of just clashes rather than work together. But in this song, it pretty much speaks for itself. It talks about how she don't want to fall in love because she often breaks hearts. I Did You Wrong, Turn It On is the single that she actually released before the album. To be honest, it's interesting because this track, it has the drums which are still dancey and aggressive, but the difference is it actually works because her voice has a actual effect on there. Now, it's not my favorite track, but it's not a bad track. I can see this being like a Miami club banger, to be honest. Now, for the light end, I do feel as though the features do fit the production better than Kali does, but I don't mind the song altogether. It gives me a lot of reggae feels with the drums, which is pretty nice. And then the last song, Heavenlies Angel, nicely done. There's only a guitar here and there's a lot of vocal effects to really give the remainder feel in the track. It also brings back that chopped and screwed effect. It's very nice and very easy to listen to, and I think the song is written to the point of no one is given heaven, or in a sense, no one is owed heaven. But let me know in the comment section what you think the meaning is. Overall, I thought the project was great. I thought that the production was amazing. I love how there was a mix of covers alongside original, and then there's also a lot of different feels when it comes to production as well. There's a lot of guitars, there's a lot of dance tracks, there's a lot of smooth tracks, there's some hip hop, there's some trap. So there's a lot of diversity when it comes to what's on this album actually. And then when it comes to a lyrical standpoint, very well done. I thought the topics were refreshing. It actually talked about love. It talked about not wanting to be in love. It talked about just wanting to feel good. And from the feels that you get from this track, I thought that it was just amazing, very refreshing. I thought her voice was amazing on this project as well. She actually showed her vocal range, but also she stayed in her style. She stayed that lower register, which is nice. When it comes to the length of the project, very solid. 13 songs, right at about 35 minutes or so. I loved it, not too long. Because there was so much diversity in the tracks, I was excited to see what was to come next. Now, when it comes to my favorite tracks, it is definitely a tie between It Was Better as well as Telepathy. And overall, I really enjoyed the project. I think that it's a great project to listen to, something that I definitely will have on repeat, and something that I definitely recommend y'all listen to as well. So here are my ratings. For production, I gave it an 8, very solid, a lot of diversity, some uniqueness, but also a lot of consistency throughout the tracks as well. Vocalism, I gave it a 9. I thought that her voice is amazing, and she did a lot to really showcase all that her voice can do. I mean, from going to different octaves all the way to chopped and screw sound effects on it as well. I thought it was very creatively done. Now, when it comes to songwriting, I gave it a 9. Now, from what I could translate, it was very well written. I love the topics. Like I said earlier, it was definitely refreshing to hear the topics that was displayed on this album. Me personally, I loved it and it really fit what I was looking for. And then overall feel, like I said, because I was looking for something like this with a really good feel afterwards, I gave it a 9. Now, this album is definitely something that I'm definitely going to listen to again. And I added a couple of bangers to the playlist. I mean, you know I had to. So altogether, even you add everything up and you divide by 4, you get an 8.75. Great album, I enjoyed it. I'm not disappointed. And hey, I recommend y'all listening to it too. So thank y'all for watching. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, share this video, and let me know in the comment section how you felt about the album. And as always, remember, your only limitations are those in your own mind. And this train will not stop, but Stevie TV out.